Hello, everybody. Good morning. Dr. Vuong here. Today's November 20th, and I'm going to do a quick COVID update because shit is hitting the fan. Now, if you've been following me the last couple of weeks, I've told you about the whole Rocky Mountain disaster. The numbers are through the roof. Michigan is the hottest place in the United States right now. Minnesota, New Mexico, my adopted state. Arizona is on fire. But what I want to warn you about is this holiday season, the South. Now listen, you heard it from me first. I've been telling my private group this for the last week. The South is starting to pick up, and it's gotten to the point where I can't ignore it anymore. Georgia, Alabama, Florida. I mean, Georgia is still, now that they've increased or dropped the age of vaccination to 5 to 11-year-olds, Georgia is something like 48% vaccinated. Alabama, it's going to be bad. The numbers are already coming up. So here's what's going to happen, okay? Thanksgiving is next week, and you're going to have this. You are already experiencing this Delta surge in the Rocky Mountain and the Michigan area and the upper kind of Ohio, upper New York areas and New Hampshire, Vermont. That's what they're burning through. Delta's burning through that area for next week, right? And then what will happen is this. Is over the Christmas holidays, a month later, the South is going to be red hot again. Now, what's interesting, or what we need to see, the numbers in New York City is ticking up now. So watch out for New York City, New Jersey. And LA is kind of flatline, but California might miss a large part of it. Phoenix is going to catch on fire over Thanksgiving and following for people who travel to that area. I mean, I would avoid it. So that's the dire prediction for the South for the Christmas holidays. I am almost guaranteeing you a Christmas winter surge. Compared to this time last year, though, November 20th, 2020, I mean, we were around, 125, 130,000 cases, 160. I think the average was 160,000 cases. But yesterday's average was 120,000 cases. We went from 2 weeks ago, we're around 70,000 cases a day here in the United States. We're up to 95,000 cases a day. We are definitely headed in the wrong direction. So I am certain we're going to have a winter surge. Now, what can you do about it? Surprisingly, the FDA, well, not so surprisingly, approved booster shots for everybody who's had a Pfizer and Moderna and J&J. So Pfizer and Moderna, if you're more than 6 months since your second course, you're eligible for a booster now, Pfizer and Moderna. J&J, if you're more than 2 months from your first initial shot, you definitely 100% need a booster. Moderna, I'm surprised about. Now, Dr. Vuong, what do you recommend? I would say that if you're a 50 and over, I would definitely get a booster, 100%. I'm 49. I'm healthy. Maybe, maybe not. I'm on the fence about it. But I might. Now, the other question I get is, Dr. Vuong, why don't they do a vaccination specifically for the Delta virus? Number one, you don't have to, okay? You don't need to do a specific vaccine for Delta virus. The ones we currently have are showing to be very durable against Delta virus. Oh, by the way, this week it was also announced that Delta is now 99.7% of all tested cases. 99.7%. When they run the genetic codes sequence on positive cases, 99.7% of them are now Delta. So that is the new, I hate to call it the wild type because that's misusing terms, but it is the strain now. When we talk about SARS CoV-2, it is Delta. Okay. Will there be a new one? Maybe. A new variant? Possibly. But our vaccines currently are very effective against the Delta variant. Now, so let's clarify. Effective against what? You really have to delineate. A recent study out of the VA, which looked at 760,000 patients, okay? They measured for protection against infection, also protection against death. And the vaccines, they have a slight decline against infection, right? So the initial studies were 94% effective against the virus. Over time, against infection, that number has dropped to about 80 to 85%. Still fantastic coverage, but the key is protection against death. Still very, very high. Very, very high, right? It's never going to be zero. It's not 100%. So anyone who sits there, anti-vaxxers or vaccine hesitant people are like, what's the point? You know, you can still catch it. You can still die from it. You can still pass it on. Like, dude, the data's coming in very, very clear. It's about risk reduction. And it's highly, highly, highly effective. But back to the question about why won't you do a whole new vaccine? Well, then you'd have to go through the whole trials, safety, efficacy, the whole shebang. You don't need to at this point because it's still very effective against Delta. The key is we really need to get the people on the fence to get vaccinated. And some of that is just going to come down from pressure. For example, I've been telling my tribe, you know, if you've been following me, like Europe is on fire. They're going through their big second wave. They really are. So some of them are calling it a fourth wave or fifth wave. Austria has just mandated a nationwide vaccine mandate, but also they're shutting down for the next something like 12 days or something if you're not vaccinated. So that's the world you're going to live in. A lot of employers are requiring, professional sports is requiring it, venues will eventually require it, and jobs, you know, like, oh, they can't make me, I'm going to quit my job. Well, quit your job. You're going to go to another job and they're just going to require it? I mean, come on. Get real. Oh, but Dr. Vuong, they just announced that, you know, the Biden just dropped their requirement mandate for companies over 100. Well, they didn't drop it. It's on pause. It's on pause until the whole legality thing falls through. But I think what's happening with insurance coverage and everything like that, dude, just get vaccinated. You know, we have billions of doses already. And the other thing, over 1 million kids have been vaccinated between the age of 5 and 11, have been vaccinated. No adverse events currently. So the data is getting very robust. Anyway, I just wanted to hop on today and, you know, you heard it here first, man. The South is going to rise again, sisters and brothers and sisters. The South will rise again. Look for a hot Christmas down here in the South. Stay safe, everybody. See you next time for another COVID update.